Hello, I'm Courtney Fingar, editor of Real FDI. Welcome to this Thought Leader interview. I'm absolutely delighted to be joined by Rosette, CEO of the Seychelles Investment Board. Now, at Real FDI, we've started covering actively the happenings in Seychelles from an FDI front. And this is a really thriving and quickly developing island economy that's offering opportunities in a range of sectors from agriculture and aquaculture, renewable energy, and of course, financial services. So we thought it would be a good opportunity to check in with Anne as the leader of the investment board and delve a little bit deeper into these opportunities that may interest our viewers here and our readers of Real FDI. Welcome, Anne. Thank you so much for taking time to speak with us.
Courtney, it's a pleasure. Thank you very much for allowing us this opportunity.
Wonderful. Well, I guess first catch us up. We're more than halfway into 2025. From your perspective and in terms of your work at the investment board, what are the highlights of the year so far and what have been your big priorities?
We've seen a shift in FDI in 2025. We're not seeing the big numbers as we saw in 2024. However, the shift is saying to us that what we're trying to do in terms of our promotion is actually having the effect that we want. So the dip in FDI is not really a negative trend that is showing, is saying to us instead that our strategic approach and target towards investment is playing out very well. In fact, when we launched the SDG map in 2023, and we've been following on with targeted investment promotion activities. So instead of going for the big ticket, large scale investment, we're looking at sustainable high impact investment, which is our priority. And is aligned to the national development strategy. And these are where we're seeing that it makes good sense for the country in terms of sustainable development. But it's also creating value addition. It's creating long-term community benefits for our country and is contributing meaningfully to our strategic priorities and sustainability goals. One of the key successes for the year is that we've seen that in a lot of the PPPs, government projects that we've been putting out, we're seeing Seychelles participation, but also we're seeing foreign investors willing to participate with Seychelles in some of these projects. And the participation of local is also showing us that there is economic inclusivity and resilience that is developing. And we are happy that foreign investors are actually meeting the demands that we're putting out.
Well, resilience is always important, but it seems particularly important right now with so much global volatility. And I think small island nations can be particularly exposed. How are you coping with that?
Yeah, like a small island state, Seychelles is, we have challenges in terms of land mass and also financial space. So with a small population, the opportunities for large-scale expansion is naturally restricted. But also, we are classified as a high-income country for GDP per capita. And this often masks our vulnerabilities as a country. We are limited in terms of access to concessional financing. So the country is currently also in an IMF program navigating delicate balance between debt levels and managing necessary public investments also. So external shocks will have an effect on our economy. It can slow it down, create inflation, but also we have climate-related incidents. We are a touristic country and tourism is a high priority sector for us. So these kind of shocks can have an impact on us. It was demonstrated during COVID. It's been demonstrated during the recent regional conflicts in terms of reliance on imports for the tourism sector and hiking in prices. So in response, what are we trying to do essentially is really directing our economy to be diversified and promoting investment in sectors where we think is going to add value for us and create collaboration with international finances and also partnering them with our local entrepreneurs so that we can build this real resilience and promote collaboration between investors, local and foreign.
Well, I did want to ask you exactly about that economic diversification. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the sectors beyond tourism? Where do you see big upside in terms of growth opportunities?
Investor interest recently, over the last, let's say, 24 to 36 months, since we've been promoting the SDG map, has been really geared towards the renewable sector and waste management. These sectors have attracted a lot of attention, even from local stakeholders, because they're offering sustainable solutions which will contribute to long-term development of Seychelles and non-resilience on, let's say, fossil fuel and other sectors which are not helping us address our green agenda. So notable examples we've seen is tire recycling, for example, and repurposing, as well as development in alternative renewable energy sources, your sunlight, your wave, your other energy. We've also seen a lot of investment in the energy sector in 2004 and 2005 because of the economic agenda of government to really put emphasis on digitalization and information and technology and communication has been also one which is gaining momentum. We're seeing investor confidence in that to build the digital infrastructure space and innovation.
And another important area for you, I know, is as an international financial center, you're already on the map, but I'm aware that there have been some regulatory reforms and that Seychelles is continuing to evolve as a financial services jurisdiction. What can you tell us about that?
We've built a reputation of being a reliable and competitive financial service jurisdiction. However, we do also need to make it consumer safe and investment friendly. So what the Financial Services Authority has been trying to do over the last few years is align the regulatory framework with all international standards, enhancing compliance and transparency while broadening the range of services that it would offer, which is beyond the normal international business company registration to include products such as investment funds, securities, insurance, and virtual asset services. But the regulatory innovation balances that we want to have has to also attract responsible participants in these sectors. And the modern reform that we are trying to put forward will enable us to drive these sectors sustainably and be compliant and with stability as well.
And a lot of investors and organizations that read Real FDI and that watch our content are in the areas of infrastructure, real estate, and hospitality and tourism. What do you have to offer these types of investors, and what kind of partnerships are useful to you in those areas?
Very good news. We've seen that as an emerging sector. As we speak in this year, I've seen quite a few requests for real estate and real assets. One of the key development that happened this year was that there was an amendment to the land acquisition regulations, which now allows foreigners to purchase property valued above 10 million Seychelles rupees and measuring maximum 2,000 square meter, which was something previously restricted. So it's now allowed. The policy shift, I believe, will stimulate high-end real estate investment, especially in luxury residential developments. But the full details of this new reform can be found on our SIB webpage. Additionally, what we've seen also is that we are trying to attract international events to Seychelles. You must have heard of our FIFA beach soccer tournament. So government is looking at building infrastructure around sports tourism. And this also aligns with the diversification agenda of tourism. We're not looking at accommodation only, but looking at all the other aspects of tourism that we can not only attract foreign investment, but also create value for our communities and our people so that they do have a fair share of the return of investment. Basically, all looking at sustainably managing our green spaces, our small islands, our seas, so that it remains for the future generation to also enjoy what we are enjoying, the asset which is called Seychelles, and how investments can continue to flow in a responsible and sustainable manner.
Wonderful. And it is clear that sustainability is the thread that cuts across your strategy in terms of your economy and, of course, the sectors in which you operate. And it's exciting to hear about the policy changes that open up new opportunities for real asset investors. And, of course, we will be continuing to track those developments and more and to tell the story of Seychelles and bring these opportunities to the world of investors. And thank you so much for sitting down with me virtually. I hope next time we can do this actually in Seychelles. That would be much nicer for me.
Yes, definitely. You're invited. We're sending out the invitation now.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Courtney. Have a good day.